Welcome to This Explainer. Look, we're jumping right in today because we are tackling something that can literally make or break your career: international business. We're going to shatter some deeply ingrained myths about how global deals actually get done. And more importantly, you're walking away with a research-based, strategic framework for your own deal-making. So grab a notepad, get comfortable, and let's completely rewire how you approach the bargaining table.
Which brings us to a massive question, one that pretty much instantly blows up standard business tactics. Is negotiation a one-size-fits-all skill? You know, it's so tempting to think that if you're a killer negotiator in New York, you're automatically going to crush it in Paris or Beijing, right? We kind of assume human psychology is universal, and that playing hardball works everywhere. But, as we're about to see, relying on your hometown playbook on the global stage is a straight-up recipe for disaster.
All right, so here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the negotiation myth. 2, gender dynamics in negotiation. 3, the global context hub. And 4, your new strategic framework. Let's get into it.
Starting with Section 1, the negotiation myth and why standard tactics fail.
So here's the reality check. Relying on those standardized cookie-cutter approaches completely ignores the insane social complexities out there in the global marketplace. The research on this is crystal clear, guys. Negotiation is absolutely not a one-size-fits-all skill. When you sit down at that table, you aren't just bringing your company's interests. You are bringing your entire cultural background with you. And guess what? Your counterpart is doing the exact same thing. If you treat a global negotiation just like a local one, you're basically flying blind.
Moving right along to Section 2, Gender Dynamics in Negotiation, the Internal Shift.
Okay, the data here reveals a seriously fascinating dynamic. It shows that women often achieve vastly superior results when they are bargaining for third parties rather than for their own personal interests. Just think about that for a second. When advocating for a client, a team, or the company as a whole, their effectiveness just skyrockets compared to when they're negotiating for something like their own salary. Understanding the specific dynamic gives you a massive strategic advantage at the table. So how do you actually leverage that? It all comes down to a specific mindset. Think beyond yourself. By mentally framing the negotiation not as some personal battle, but as a vital mission to protect and advocate for a third party, negotiators can tap into this really powerful psychological shift. It completely transforms your approach, allowing for a much more assertive and ultimately a much more successful outcome.
All right, Section 3, the global context hub. Let's take a cultural tour.
This breakdown shows just how drastic the variations are across the globe. Let's consider these contrasting styles for a moment. First up, the French. In France, conflict is actually viewed as a form of dialogue. It's a constructive debate. If they're arguing with you, it means they're engaged. But take that exact same argumentative energy over to China, and you're going to clash big time. That's a culture that prepares for seemingly endless negotiations, where stamina and long-term relationship building are literally everything. And finally, look at the Russian approach. Over there, offering a concession isn't just a polite way to meet in the middle. Compromise is often viewed strictly as a failure, a glaring sign of weakness. So you can easily see how a French negotiator, who's expecting a lively debate, might completely misread a Russian counterpart who just absolutely refuses to budge an inch.
Which brings us to Section 4, your new strategic framework for securing the deal. We have to get really clear on the stakes here. A misperception isn't just an awkward cultural faux pas. It is a very costly business failure. When you misinterpret a Russian counterpart's refusal to compromise as just them being personally stubborn, or a French counterpart's debate as outright hostility, deals just fall apart. We're talking millions of dollars lost simply because one side failed to understand the cultural heritage and the social complexities of the person sitting right across from them.
So let's dive into the exact procedure to make sure that never happens to you. Step 1 is absolutely non-negotiable. You've got to perform thorough research on your counterpart's specific cultural background and heritage before you ever set foot in the room. You have to know the rules of the game they're playing. Then, Step 2 is where the magic happens. Adapt your strategy to navigate their unique gender and cultural dynamics. Use that think beyond yourself framing if it empowers your position, and drastically adjust your tolerance for debate, endurance, or concessions based on whether you are sitting in Paris, Beijing, or Moscow. This two-step framework is really the only way to consistently win in the global marketplace.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final, pretty vital thought to challenge how you prepare for your next big international meeting. Who are you negotiating with tomorrow, and what don't you know about them? Because in the high-stakes world of global deal-making, what you don't know about your counterpart isn't just some minor blind spot. It is the exact place where your deal is going to fall apart. So do the research, understand those dynamics, and go secure that deal. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you next time.